Welcome to the first episode of the Chasing Altitude podcast. I'm joined here by Marcos. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Marcos. I'm a Spanish. You will notice, already with my accent. Uh, I started flying in 1993 after I finished my military service. First on the flight school in Mallorca, that is a small aerodrome close to the main airport. I was starting there. And then with a few years, I was just becoming a ramp agent. I was also an operations manager in Palma de Mallorca Airport while I was doing some flights in a tiny little airlines flying the Islander between the islands to move cargo and sick people. And then finally, I got the chance to get on my first airline on 1998. And I joined flying the Embraer 145. It was pretty cool. First plane, jet, 49 passengers. That's where I met my wife, so it was pretty
Oh,
cool.
wow.
It was a great place to be. I was 2 years there, but I had to move because they were struggling with the money, and I found another job flying the 717. Probably the best plane I ever flown in my life,
Yeah, I
I
bet.
have to tell you. But I think it was a rocket and super easy to fly with a lot of helps, full screens and everything. It was just magnificent, super fast. I was 6 years there. Initially, the plan of the airline was to surf from Mallorca to the other islands and to the mainland, but at the end we ended up flying for Spanair all the time. So because we were a link of Spanair, the money was from there.
Mm.
And after 6 years, I got the chance to get upgraded on the 7.3, thanks to one of my best friends in aviation, a guy who was with me on the flight school. He offers me to move to the 7.3, getting me the upgrade. And it was a time that I have to choose between 320 and 7.3, and it was the 7.3.
Yeah.
I'm
Great
not
result.
complaining. I'm not complaining. I think I did the right choice. And it was funny because I did the type rating on an NG, then downgraded to the classics,
Oh, wow. And then back up.
and then downgraded back again to the classics non-FEs.
Wow.
So I was flying 8 years on the right side with full glass cockpit, and I ended up flying as a captain on the left side with full of clocks.
Wow.
So
Incredible.
I still remember the first takeoff. It was pretty funny with the instructor. He said me V1, and my answer was where because I couldn't spot it. And actually, was a little bit funny. I was 2 years flying from an airline there, and then I moved to another cargo airline. Back again as a captain, from mainly because of the base, because I was never in my base, and they offered me the base in Vitoria. I was living at the time in the base country, and from there, I finished the job there because I was a contractor, and I was starting looking for a job. My main plan was going to China, but these guys are crazy with the paperwork,
Yeah, I can
and
imagine.
they ended up asking me to do an English test that I can understand because I'm Spanish, although my English I think is not too bad.
That's
But
very good.
the funny thing is that we're asking also the same to New Zealanders, and I was like, "What the hell is
Oh,
going on
wow.
here?" It didn't work out, and while I was one day at home chatting with a friend of mine on the phone, and I just fill it up the website for Ryanair because it was really easy to fill it up. And I did it, and I got a call on the next day. I was like, "Oh, thank you."
We'll take
Says,
that.
"Can you come next week?" Says, "No, because I was going to China." So I says, "No, no, no, I cannot. Can I go the next one?" Says, "Yeah, come the next one." Which day? Says, "Okay, Wednesday." "Yeah, Wednesday." So I took a flight after being in China. So and I passed the screening. They offered me the position. I mean, I did the screening on Wednesday. On Thursday, they offered me the position, and then I keep on delaying a little bit. Let's see if I can go to China, and actually didn't work out. So I just joined Ryanair in February 2010. I was flying there for 3 years as a data entry captain, initially based in Bristol.
Yeah.
That it was quite a challenging place. I
It's very
choose
different to
Bristol.
China.
Yeah. I choose Bristol just because the cousin of my wife, he was living in the UK for a long period. And he said, "Me, just go close to Bath because it's a nice place in the UK." I says, "Well, yeah, funny." And then another friend of mine, a captain, and now he's a captain in Ryanair, he called me and says, "Marcos, which way have you choose finally? Tell me that you didn't choose Bristol." I says, "Why not? Have you seen the runway?" I says, "What's going on with the runway?" I says, "Have a look to it." and I figured it out that it was the shortest
Oh,
runway on a Ryanair base, and it was well, we will manage.
like a challenge.
If the other ones are doing it, I think I can do it
Yeah,
either.
exactly that. And then all the other bases are easier then once you've done the hardest one.
Yeah. So I was there a year and a half, and then I could manage to move myself down to Malaga, and I was flying there for another year and a half. So I ended up flying 3 years for Ryanair, and then I decided to quit. Not Ryanair, I quit aviation.
Wow. Okay.
That's one of the funny things of my curriculum. And I was living in Malaga at the time, and then I moved to the Pyrenees, so 1,000 kilometers up to the north. And I was not flying, let's say, commercial or anything like that. I was just flying gliders time to time, helping the people over there in the aerodrome, living on my savings, and also because I was a day trader on the stock market. So that was my way of life. Right. One day I show up on a flight school that I was an hour driving from home, the south where I was living in Huesca, and they offered me a position as a flight instructor, mainly because I was not flying, and they said, okay, you are a pilot. They need flying instructors, and they offered me to pay me everything. And because of the amount of hours that I had instrumental and whatever, I went really fast growing up, becoming an FI, CRI, ARI in a quick version. I was working for them. I was really happy. I was enjoying a lot. I love teaching. That's probably one of the things that I love the most. And but again, COVID hit. They closed the flight school. It was a mess. Now they have also closed in Montpellier, so it's the same flight school. And then I tried to set up a flight school on the same place with my ex-boss that now is my friend. We were chasing for money for 2 years, but it was impossible. No one wanted to invest it, and we have to quit. And they offered me a position in FTE Jerez as a contractor, so I took it. So I was working in FTE Jerez for 2 years almost, and also after the first half year, I was also an MCC. Right. Because I was already an SFI on the 737. And finally, I joined Airline in last year. I met one of the guys who was working there in my SFE course, because I'm also an examiner on the 73. And they offered me the possibility of flying in the summer. For me, it was great flying the classics. I love it. Well, anything that flies, pretty much, I love it.
They were on the same page on that one.
And then I finished my contract in September, and I was looking for a job, and now finally I found it. I'm back again on ETF, and I'm gonna join them. And I'm just dreaming on flying in Argentina. That is the main goal. Well, it's one of my dreams. I mean, just flying away from Europe, and they offered me the chance to do it. So I'm just waiting for it.
It's an absolute privilege to have such a decorated captain on the show for the first guest. I think I've blown the budget out for this one. It's a privilege to have you on here. I really do appreciate it. I'm a flight dispatcher, so my main aim was to basically make sort of an aviation community. I don't really feel like the UK has many aviation podcasts or anything like that for people that are younger to sort of know how to get into aviation and how to do it. Obviously, you've got modular integrated and loads of different ways to do it. Let me ask you first: what made you become a pilot in the first place when you was young? What sparked that sort of vision, would you say?
Well, actually, my first goal was to do it at home to save money. Yeah. Okay, that was the first goal. So we got in a school close to home, because I'm in Mallorca. It's not too big, and I did it there. It was called an integrated, but it's not an integrated as you may think now. Okay, it was called ICAO to 10. ICAO to 10. It was the name, but it was more a modular thing than what you are expecting to be an integrated. Okay, because I did a PPL.
Yep.
Then I did a CPL, then I did a multi-engine rating, and then I did an IR. So, and also not only for flying, but I had to do it also for the study, for the knowledge. I mean, so it was a test every X months. So it was. Can I say a pain in the ass here? Yes.
No problem at
all. Okay, it was a pain in the ass.
I'm not getting paid yet, so it's okay. I've got no sponsors. It's not going to be a problem. So since you were young, have you always, since when you were a child, have you wanted to fly? When did that sort of start?
Okay, it was half and half, becoming a doctor or becoming a pilot.
Okay, and you chose the best one, I'd say.
Well, I choose initially when I was young, I chose it to become a pilot because I thought I was not going to study as much as a doctor.
Well,
It was a big mistake.
yeah.
I'm studying more than ever.
I've heard that quite a
Also
lot.
because as a European, I have passed with for 3 changes of regulation, and it
Yeah, wow.
just
Non-stop.
a bit too much. And sometimes I'm mixing up everything, and it just well, at the end, you tend to get with it, but it was just sometimes it's just a bit of a nightmare when they are changing so many things,
Yeah, I can imagine.
and it's what it is.
If I could ask you now, obviously I know you trained a little while back, and obviously things do change in the regulations, etc. Modular versus integrated. If you're talking to a younger aspiring pilot, which would you pick personally, and what would you advise to pick?
Okay, if you have the money, go for integrated. It's faster. I think you tend to learn more if you are doing on a modular,
Yeah, okay.
because you have to start dealing with your personal things way much ahead of whatever you are doing in your life. Of course, integrated is faster. Flight schools, big ones, they try to do it integrated because it's super easy to manage in terms of time-wise and when to schedule the courses. So you did the theory first, and then you go flying, and it's super easy to manage because I was setting up a flight school, and I know how easy it is. But I think there are 2 different ways of doing it. I mean, modular people usually is the people who don't have the time, a year and a half or whatever, almost 2 years, to be fully dedicated to that. And I think they have this extra thing. But then on the other hand, there are a lot of airlines who are not recruiting modular people, and I cannot understand why, because it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if I have to choose between same level of guy, same everything, between an integrated and a modular, I will choose the modular because I think the effort has been bigger than the integrated. But I mean, the industry,
Yeah.
they have their own rules and nothing we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing modular at the moment. Obviously, I'm 80% through my PPL. It's very early in the whole stage of things. But I'd say it's the drive to want to do it, to keep doing it every day and studying, etc., not being in that classroom environment. So I'd agree with you. I think you'd always want the modular person because it shows that drive and ambition to actually want to do the job. So once you got the first job flying the 717, how was
Well, that
that?
was my
As an
second job.
experience?
I did my first
Second.
job on the Embraer 145, and then my second job was on
Yes.
the
Okay.
71. The flying the 71 was an amazing experience. First of all, because we did the course in Long Beach. That makes a whole of a difference, okay? Being
I
with the
bet.
Americans who have built the plane and they are teaching you, the guys who have been testing and doing the plane, it makes the whole difference. Facilities, everything was just only for us because initially we were going to buy 20 planes. At the end, we ended up only with 5, but the effort of it was already Boeing, okay, but it was just taken from McDonnell Douglas from 1 year or something like that. It was in 2000, but it was amazing to be there with the
Yeah, I
in
can
Long
imagine.
Beach with the main factory. We could see how they were building the planes, sim facilities, whatever you wanted. I mean, we had a classroom. We can enter and CBTs, unlimited use of the FMC, unlimited use of the mockups. So it was just. It was from my personal view, it was one of the best experience I had. And then it was my second time in the States, but the first time I was in Houston. That is, if someone from the States is looking this podcast and he is from Houston, sorry to say that, but it was not the best place in the world to be. I mean, California
Oh,
is
really? Interesting.
is nicer. It's nicer, okay? Because we were in LA, we were then chasing ex-military planes from the Second War, chasing aerodromes on the area. It was just really funny. And then, of course, I mean, just America itself, it's just fun itself. So I think it was
Yeah, cool.
an enormous thing to be there. And then when we came back to Spain, it was not, don't misunderstand me, okay? It was not the time as the SOPs were the best ones, okay? Let's say that way.
Yeah.
I do love SOPs, and as a first officer, it's hard not to have it because I mean you are always on the right side, and it's the weak side. But it was funny because we were flying the plane at max speed every single day, anywhere we were going. requesting visual approaches anywhere we were going. It was just super funny. But the plane was easy to handle, and short wings, super fast, and and whatever you were high, just dropping the slats at 280 was just dropping and the plane was dropping like a rock, and it was just extremely fun. We were more time at the beginning on the ground than flying, because with the flights were so fast. Because we were doing flights between Mallorca and Ibiza, and Mallorca and Menorca, and they were like 12,
What's that, 10 minutes?
13 minutes flight, yeah. 12, 13. So it was not too much time to do things.
So a quick question I have as well, for aspiring pilots, obviously you've had quite a few interviews throughout your time. Can you give me top 3 tips?
The easy one, be yourself. I know it's hard. I know it's easy at the same time, but don't try to be another person, because then you are going to struggle. There is a lot of ways of chasing people who are lying. And I can tell you that because I've been on the part of the interviewer on flight schools, and I know how easy it is to catch up someone that is lying. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Then, of course, be ready for mainly for the things you have been studying. I mean, the ATPL, basically, because they are going to ask you questions about it. So always be ready and get this thing fresh. And then the last one is not for you, because you are from the UK and you are supposed to speak pretty much good English. But for the other people who are gonna check the podcast, English, and then English, and when you are fed up, more English.
What surprised you the most about airline flying when you first flew for your first airline?
The speed. It's not the same doing the things at 160, 180 than doing the things at 280, 300, 320. The speed. The speed makes the whole thing, because not the speed because of the speed. It's because you have to be you have to be ready all the time. And even, especially when you are doing the approaches, you have to be ahead of the things always. And it's not as easy as doing it on a light plane. Yeah, you are flying 100, 120 with a twin, 140. Remember, 140 is the approach speed with full flaps on the 737.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference. Is the time that you need to get ahead of all the approaches and everything when it's going on, and the things goes rapidly. I mean, the amount of climbing, although you are not feeling it because of the pressurization, but suddenly you are above flight level 200, and they have passed in no time. Pretty much, you were just you are still thinking on the takeoff. But it happens. It's just the speed, and of course the first day, the radio. The radio, because I was getting my license in Spain, speaking in Spanish, and then I have to jump straight away, flying European flights in English with the accents in Germany, in the UK, in France, in Italy, and it was just struggling. Let's say, I was struggling a little bit because it was not easy. It was not easy.
And then when you was obviously an airline pilot and quite established in doing that, what would you say is the biggest misconception people have about being an airline pilot?
A lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Everyone is. When you want to fly, that's it. Okay, it's a dream job. Okay, this famous phrase of "we have the best views ever." No one has the same views that we have. Yeah, that's a fact. It's true. Flying at 30,000 feet, you are going to have the top views of everything by far. But you need a lot of sacrifice. You are going to be a lot of times away from home, carrying your bag with you, being in hotels, trying to sleep in places that is not home, because as your bed, there is no other bed in the world. I can guarantee you that. Your pillow is your pillow. It's not the hotel pillow. I knew a guy who was taking the pillow everywhere, but I think it's just half of the half of the packet was full of only with the pillow. And it's what it is. It's you need to do a few things, and you have to sacrifice things, like being with your friends when they are partying. I missed a few weddings of my friends just because I was flying and I couldn't handle it. And those are the things that you cannot get annoyed when it happens to you, because that's the life you choose. Like being out on Christmas, on New Year's Eve, in the middle of Easter, things like that. Everyone is just having a holiday, and you are working. Not you, because you are at the airport and you know that you are working every day, but a lot of people is just thinking that they are not going to fly these days or whatever. I don't know what they are thinking, because this is, I'm not going to say you are flying every single day of the year, but this is 365 H24. I mean, you can be, you can have a flight anytime in the year. So it's just what it is. I was working on the art one, and we were not flying on 25, but on the 24 and on 26 we were flying. So it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and you have to start building up your brain for that, okay? Because not everyone can deal with it properly. Properly. On the other side, it has a lot of good things, okay? I'm not going to say just only the bad things. I mean, I love my job, and I've been doing it for a long time. And I'm getting back again on the commercial flights just because I love it. I love to fly. That's the problem with us. we yeah, we need our dose, okay, of flying, and somehow it's a drug for us, and we need it. And I cannot see myself happier, of course, with my family, but that's another thing, but happier than when I'm flying. The smile that I have when I'm sitting on the plane and doing my job, man, that's it's from another planet, but you have to love it. If you think that this job is just because you are going to make money, you are going to meet a lot of girls or boys, whatever you like it, I don't mind. But at the end, if you think that way, you're going to struggle with it. But if you love flying, you are going to enjoy it a lot. Yeah,
the feeling I've had on the little Cessna 152 is the biggest smile on my face I've ever had, let alone when I'm flying the big jet. So I can't wait for that sort of feeling and the smile I'm going to have. So I'm very excited for that.
At the end, it's flying. Flying is flying. I love to fly light planes. I love it. I enjoy it a lot. I remember one day yeah, I love it. Yeah. I love to fly a single engine. I love it. I remember one of my ex-colleagues from one of the airlines. I met him in Jerez, and he was, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm not. I'm not flying anymore." Yeah, I know it. Someone has already said me that. Say, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm teaching." He says, "What are you teaching?" Just flying. Where? Just on the thing that you are seeing now in front of you. He says, "On a single engine?" Says, "You're gonna die." Says, "Come on, I'm still here, so I think I'm not gonna die. Not yet, at least." And he was like, "How do you manage to fly that plane?" Says, "Well, it's the same thing. You throttle up and then you pull it up. So it's pretty much the same thing. Small houses, big houses. So at the end, it's pretty much the same."
You said you're instructing in Jerez for a little bit. I myself want to become an instructor, and I'm sure some listeners also see that as a way into, getting into the big jets, or just staying as instructing as their, a full-time job. Any advice you'd have people trying to get into instructing? And then also, what was your sort of day in the life as an instructor?
Okay. If you want to instruct, the first thing you have to think is if you are going to like it. Otherwise, it's going to be a nightmare. So people that are only doing it just to build up hours or to do something, I can see their faces. After a month and a half, I can see their faces moving around in operations. And he's not having a good time. First of all, you are not flying that much, okay? You are not touching the controls that much. And you have to be mentally ready. On the first lessons, when you are teaching someone, you are just touching a little bit, but then after lesson 6 or 7, is the other guy who is flying the plane. You are just watching and correcting things that he's doing wrong. So you have to be ready for that. You are building up hours, you got a job, yes. You are flying, yes. But if you don't like it, because I've seen people that they were just not liking what they were doing, and they were just trying to get away from there, and it was just the faces of these people. That's another thing. I love it. I love to teach. I love to see my ex-students going through the airlines. Every single time someone is calling me I can see a picture on the Instagram, or they are texting me, or whatever. It is making my day. The last guy who called me, I was on a holiday trip with my wife in the middle of Spain, and one of the guys called me, says, Marcos, I did it in EasyJet. And Jesus Christ, I was almost crying because he didn't have any relationship with the aviation. He's from the base country, the same place I was living in Vitoria. It's not an easy place when you want to be a pilot. And I was so happy for him, and and of course it's a little bit of ego, but it makes me feel so good that those guys are passing through the experience of getting hired on an airline. And as I said, in a few years' time, I will go on Iberia flights, and everyone I will know every single captain. Iberia pilots have been teaching, and in EasyJet, a lot of them also, and in Ryanair. I mean, in FTE, the last 3 years, I mean, a lot of people teaching, passing through my hands.
I mean, they're good hands to pass through by the sounds of it. I mean, the experience sounds incredible. So I think it's very lucky for them, really, to have an instructor like yourself by the sounds of it.
I think they are enjoying because, I mean, I'm quite a strict guy. Okay, so that's not my funny face. I want the things to be done, and I want to things that it's a fact. I have a 25% of myself is German, so that's why I'm always blah 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 blah. And I think that arise when I'm teaching. But then I'm quite friendly. I make a lot of jokes. I don't mind to spend hours talking about aviation with anyone who is willing to question me or just to listen whatever I'm saying, and I love it.
You sound a very good person to listen to and learn from, so I'm very lucky, and so is obviously all the viewers as well. But when you was instructing, obviously I'm sure you've had your fair share of students. How do you get the best out of a student, for example, that's struggling?
That's the thing that you have to learn with the time. Okay, not everyone gets a better result. I mean, pushing. Okay, just someone, you just push it once and he's gonna go itself. Another one, they need a little bit more help. What I'm trying to do is when someone is struggling, I'm sitting down with them and talking with them a long time, whatever it needs. I still remember one lady. She's now in Ryanair, and the flight school gave it to me because they thought she was not going past. She was not going through the IR, and I said, no, she's gonna do it. And they were like, are you sure? Says 100% sure. So I was with her every single day. The briefing were lasting like an hour and a half. But the briefing was not about aviation. It was about life. It was just to mentally set up her brain to make her think he could do it. And he did it. It's not a magic thing. It's just you have experience. Of course, I mean, I'm older than all these guys. And that makes a little bit. And also, one of the things that I love is mental health and all this kind of relations. So I'm also a mentor and a coach, and I've been helping people only on that matter. And I think I just incorporating things that, I mean, they are not purely 100% aviation things.
That must be very rewarding as well. Outside of aviation, I bet it's quite rewarding for yourself.
I mean, if you like to help people, yeah. I mean, I love to help others. So it's one of the things that I love the most. I mean, help, and in aviation, I do it the same. I mean, when you're teaching, you are helping the others. It's not only teaching just because I know the things. I mean, knowing the things, you grab a book and 80% is there. Then you have to figure it out when you have to apply it, and that's when you need someone to help you out as an instructor.
So, Marcos, your time as a captain, I'd like you to take us through your first day and how you were feeling and how sweaty your palms were.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. It wasn't easy. It was not easy, man. First day on the line training, as I said before, it was a little bit complicated because just figuring out the layout of the plane, it was not easy. Then when I was flying, and then the speeds and managing the autopilot and everything was the same thing as I was doing as a first officer. So it was not. Then I was released as a captain, and I don't remember the first day, but a few things that happened to me. They got me released to fly to Funchal, for example, in Madeira.
Yep.
That is a Cat 3 airport. When I was like 200 hours as a captain,
Wow.
and that was just killing me. It was killing me. The approaches were okay because the plane was full and was not. I didn't had too much bad days. I did that one go around only. But then for takeoff, it was a problem because we were taking off at midday and we were pretty much flying empty and we were light as a feather. So on takeoff, it was shaking every single day. Passing 6,000 feet, it was just all the time. And then I remember one day flying in Tenerife, north, because we were doing a flight that it was just Madrid, Gran Canaria, Tenerife, and back to Madrid with cargo. And I remember the day because it was just, the wind was blowing from the south, so picking up the Teide, the mountain that is on the island, and then all the downdraft was catching up on the other side. And the guy of the ATC says, man, turn to the right for a vector. And I said, no way, just drive me on the other side because I don't want to go on the side of the mountain. No way, I'm not going to be moving more than what I am. And it would just tied it up and everything. It would just, the plane was smashing up and down.
Was that the most not scariest, but sort of scariest part of your flying career?
No. My scariest incident, not incident. My scariest thing that it happened to me is that I fall down in the middle of nowhere in Europe, 2,000 feet.
Wow. So
I catch up a real cat. Initially, the plane was shaking, and suddenly everything blows away. Boom, autopilot, everything, and the plane dropped 1,000 feet. I reconnect everything. I was just so shocked. I look at the FO and she was like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know. And again, boom, the second one, 2,000 feet. The funny thing is I don't smoke and I had to smoke a cigarette when I went down on the ground because the FO wasn't smoking and says, just give me a cigarette. I need to do something to relieve my pressure.
Would you say the decision to upgrade to the captain was an easy one, or did you hesitate to make that jump?
I mean, it was a natural thing. I was already 33, 34.
Yeah.
I mean, I was young at the time I did it, okay? Because now the things are different, but at the time I did it, I was quite a young captain. And after flying 8 years as an FO, it was just the thing that I had to do. I mean, for me, it was more struggling with the new plane that it was non-FIs, that the thing as being a captain, because on the 717 airline, the captains were helping me a lot, and they were, because I was an experienced FO, they were just giving me a lot of things to do pretty much all the time. So It was not a problem with that.
If there's any first officers watching, what in your eyes as a captain makes a great first officer from your perspective? What things do you look out for? How do you know someone's a good FO?
I mean, a good FO is the one who does the job.
Yeah.
And is there always helping you. And if you do something wrong, he's going to tell you. That's a good FO.
Yeah.
Because everyone is doing mistakes every single day, every single flight. Always. And the one who says no, don't worry, he's going to make it soon. There is no magic on that. And a good first officer, as I said, is the one who knows what to do and always helping you, because sometimes the amount of information that you have to deal with it, and sometimes it's a bit too much, and you are just forgetting tiny little things from the operation.
I think aviation as a whole is quite important, isn't it? I mean, people get sort of undermined by authority in a way, but I think no matter what level you are in the ranks, it's good to ask the question, or even when you're reading things back, like you say, you need to ask. If you're unsure, don't just do it, because if you get something wrong in aviation, it can be, potentially catastrophic.
Yeah, I'm always, when I'm flying with people that I don't know, I'm always trying to do a nice approach. Okay, of course. If he is there or she is there, it's because of a reason. So I'm expecting him or her to perform. And one of the phrases that I love, it sounds better in Spanish, but I'm gonna say it in English either way. Whatever you don't say, it doesn't count.
Okay.
So say the things, because I'm not a magician. I cannot read your mind. So if you have to say something, tell me. It might be important. I don't know. Just tell me things. I don't get offended. So don't worry. I'm not one of these guys who's like, you are telling me anything and saying, no. Just tell me, because it might be on purpose, it might be because I forget it, or it might be because, I mean, we have to do it because of the operation itself. Okay, so you never know, but just raise your assertiveness. I mean, don't be a guy who is always like make anything. But I mean, don't don't annoy me, but just let me know the things, because sometimes you are on the ground speaking on the phone with operations, loading up the thinking about the fuel, checking the weather, because the weather on destination is crap and you have to fill it up more fuel. You have to do your calculations because you have a lot of passengers, the runway and everything. And sometimes you need a little bit of help. And if the other guy is helping you out with anything, it's just a great relief. And it makes you, it makes you, let's say, get a step back and look the operation a little bit wider, because otherwise you tend to get into a tunnel vision pretty quick.
Obviously, you've seen quite a bit of industry change over time. How obviously, I know there's been some big events such as COVID. How did you mitigate different industry changes throughout your time flying?
We have to adapt ourselves to anything that is happening. Yeah. And I think aviation now is safer than before, mainly because of the SOPs, mainly. And I think the level of English that the people is managing, of course, even if they are not from from as yourself, from a native place, also is helping a lot. Okay, I still remember I was flying with captains that they were not able even to speak 3 words in a row in English, and I had to take over communications the whole time, and that makes the whole thing a little bit more complicated. And that's one of the things. And when we start with all these EASA thing, and everyone was starting to fly, mix it up, okay? Because when I started, I was just only be able to fly in Spain. It was a national license. Then we got this European license. At the beginning, it was not that easy because we were not so mixed up, and cultural difference is a huge barrier. But I think now the people, when they are approaching to this job, they are understanding that they are, I mean, like if we fly together, I know you are from the UK and I'm from Spain, okay? And we know, I mean, even if we don't know each other, I can figure it out a little bit how is your brain set up, and you can figure it out mine, okay? So that's a thing that it has been improving a lot. And also the applications and of CRM and the SOPs on the airlines. The SOPs, it just, I mean, just because I'm coming from a Catholic place, Spain is a Catholic, mainly it's a Catholic country, I'm always saying the same. For me, the SOPs are the Bible. Okay? Yeah. They are written on a stone. Although then, when you are starting flying on an airline, you see the SOPs like a thin line, and then it's when you are progressing through it, and then you see that you can just move around a little bit. I mean, not getting out, just moving around, because they are wider than you may think. Okay, they have more space for your personal things.
If I could take you back to the start of your training, what do you wish someone could have told you at the very start, looking back?
How hard was going to be the first day? Because as I said, it was another era. And first lesson was just taking off, whatever, flying up to the north in Mallorca. And suddenly the instructor says, the plane has 3 movements on the 3 axes. One is this one, and he hit the rudder pedals till the end. Pam, pam. Without even asking. Boom, boom. And then, and also we have the roll. Boom, boom. And also the plane can go down, bang, and then go up. Boom. And my eyes were just worn like on the cartoons, getting out of my face, and then came back. And I still remember, because my mom, he said to me, like, you have that I was, my skin color changed to yellow for a week. But I mean, the way they were thinking, the instructors that days, is like, if you pass that day, that means you are not afraid of flying. So you are going to keep on going. I know it's not the best way of doing it, but it makes some kind of a sense. Okay, I think it was a little bit too rough.
Have you done it as an instructor?
Okay. No, I've done it a lot. I've done a lot on other things, but not this.
You didn't pay it forward.
Especially looking for fields really low, in a place that I could go low. Low means low. low. That we can figure it out if we are gonna land or not. Not guessing. No, figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
We are gonna make it, yes or no. And the guy was like, I don't know. So keep on going, and we will know it. No worries. We didn't touch the ground, but we were, let's say, low.
I think I've been down. I say on obviously mock engine failure, it's about 300-400 feet, but that's not. I'm sure it's probably lower than that. Yeah,
Lower.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Lower.
We'll keep it at that. What matters more early on, natural ability or attitude? Would you say?
Hard work makes the difference, and self-discipline. It's like anyone on the sports nowadays. You can be touched with magic, but if you don't work, nothing's gonna happen. Of course, the guys who has the people who have some kind of ability, they are gonna do it easier. But hard work makes the whole of the difference, without any doubt.
Do you see any bad habits from new pilots that are quite common that you have to rule out quite quickly as an instructor, and what would their main habits sort of be?
Not the ones who have passed through my hands, but then I've seen things that on airlines that young pilots are doing. They are too cocky. They have to relax a little bit more. It's a great job, but this is a job. We are not heroes. We are not Superman. We are not anything like that. We are pilots. Okay, it's a good job. A lot of people is like dreaming of doing it, but that's it. Yes, we are not people outside of this world. We are just a normal guy who just do somehow a complicated job that is carrying 200 souls on board or 300 or whatever. But that's it. That's it. I mean, you don't need to walk like you have discovered the penicillin yesterday.
Discover the world.
So that's one of the main arguments. Seriously, just that teaching as a flying instructor, I never faced anyone like that. Okay, it was all the people. It just always wanted to learn, and they were always more or less hard workers. I had to stop one scene one day because the day he was not ready for it. Now he's flying in EasyJet, and I think he got the message. I stopped the scene after the scene was an hour and a half, and I stopped it after half an hour, and then we had a chat, a serious chat. And the first thing I said is, I don't want to do this, but you force me to do it.
Yeah, but
because it's not me.
It's
you.
Term, haven't you? Because if you
come on, he's an F1 in EasyJet. Exactly. It's not that easy to get through the process over there. I think he's. I mean, we have been in touch later on, and we have seen each other, and he's hugging me. So I think he didn't take it into account. So,
you're right. That's good to know. No bridges burned. And then just taking you back to the training talk as well. Obviously, people are doing it modular versus integrated now, and someone that's doing it modular like myself, what would you say to myself or someone like myself to stop yourself comparing yourself to faster progressing peers in the integrated course, for example?
When you are going to go to the hours building, take care of not becoming a wild pilot. That's the best thing I can tell you, because I've seen a lot of people who on the hours building are doing things that they shouldn't be doing it, and they are not practicing enough what they should practice. I know it's country, moving around, flying, and so, as yourself, because you have decided to go modular, I think it's quite funny because you can just more or less build up whatever you want to go, whatever you want to do, and everything. I think that's great. Then this is gonna build up your mind in a different way. But don't get too wild, because nowadays it's too easy. You can just have a GPS, you can just have your phone or whatever, and not planning the route properly. Pick up the phone or pick up the GPS and do it with that, because then you will have a problem.
Flying with SkyDemon on the iPad is very different to flying with the paper maps, that's for sure. And it's a worry that some people can't fly with the paper maps.
I don't know with which map are you flying, but when I was flying navigation wise from Mallorca to the mainland, when I was getting my licenses, we were flying with a map 1 million. It was a massive map, and just spotting the things was just so complicated, man.
Yeah, it goes across yourself and the instructor. It goes across the whole plane, and you're trying to find where you are on the whole map. I fly out of North Weald when I was doing it, and obviously it's just next to the Stansted airspace, and you've got London and all these different airspaces. So
that's
that
a tricky
makes
one.
it even more tricky, yeah. But it's all good fun. It's all good fun. What keeps you excited about flying still after all these years? Because I know you obviously came out of flying for a little while and then jumped back in. What keeps the spark?
Well, actually, I was not flying for 1 year and a half, because I was just doing
Yeah,
something always related with that. Commercially, yeah. For me, because one of the things that I think it just all my path has given to me back my rewards. Okay, getting back to teaching from scratch. Okay, ab initio. It's having me it's just refreshing me a lot of abilities that I thought that they were lost. And especially because also I'm an examiner on IRE and CRE. Position the plane on a UPRT position for the test and things like that. They are giving me a lot of confidence flying the big planes now. Yeah, so now when I'm going to the sim and we do UPRT, it's like, okay, fair enough. Actually, I don't mind, because I've been doing it myself. 40 up, 20 down, 60 whatever, or almost 90 on the sides on real planes, flying the plane inside of it. So it is giving me a lot of confidence. And for me, it's because I love aviation. I love flying. I love talking about planes. I've loved talking about the economics that they are behind it. I love to talk about fuel burn, whatever. I don't care. And I'm always hunger of knowledge, of knowing things. I'm not a fan of the book. I mean, I'm not a fan of studying. I think no one is at the end. But I love to get the knowledge somehow. Reading a small, new, whatever. And I love it. I love aviation. It's my life. It has been my life for always. So it's just my life. So I'm in love with it. And that's another thing, because it's a problem also.
Yeah, an addiction.
I need my dose. Time to time. You know, when I'm going traveling or whatever, if I see an aerodrome or whatever, I want to go there. If I see a flight school, I want to go there and chat with the students. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. But I think it's some kind of an illness somewhere.
You said you fly the 737 now, correct? Do you want to fly the heavy jets one day, or are you content with the 737?
No, I mean, I'm always saying the same thing. Give me a jumbo to fly Palma to Ibiza. I get bored on long flights. It's one of my problems. I got the chance to fly long haul, and I refused to do it a long time ago, but I refused to do it because big jet, big pack. Okay, that's a thing that you have to remember.
I love that.
And I don't think it's for me. I mean, I love short haul. Not medium. I love short haul. I love the flights with an hour and a half. That's the flights that I love the most. Okay, at the end you have to do a lot of things, flying 3-4 hours, whatever. But I love short haul, and I think long haul is not for me. When I was flying in Ryanair, Emirates door was wide open, because everyone was passing through there. But
is that quite a common jump, Ryanair to Emirates?
It was in 2010. It was.
Really,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different life over there, isn't it, as well? So I can see why people want to do it.
Yeah, it's not because
it's both sides, isn't it?
I think it's a natural progression.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. It was not for me, and I'm not even thinking about it of moving to long haul.
I mean, that's just the best place to be, isn't it? Content with what you're doing. That's just the best.
I'm happy with the 737.
What should people focus on if they want a long-term aviation career, would you say?
That's a good question, man. For me, it's some kind of a philosophy of life. I mean, you have to love the job. I've seen people who didn't like it and they were doing it only for the money. Yeah. They were unhappy. When I was not happy flying, I quit it. And then I'm happy. I think I'm going to be happy, or because my intention is to be a happy man. but I've been working a lot in myself. That's why I'm coming back, and I think I'm gonna be able to do it. You have to be happy, but in this job, on any job you are doing in life, I mean, you have to be a happy person. Otherwise, your life is gonna be miserable. And people who doesn't like this job, the days that the weather is not good, really hard, really complicated, because not every day is sunshine. Not every day is the sun is sunshine.
Yeah, I think working on the
So
ramp, I definitely know that. That's for sure. I can't hide in the cockpit, unfortunately, so I'm stuck outside in the rain when it does rain. So
yeah.
let's take
You
shelter.
know it. You know it. I was there also, so I know
Oh, of
how it
course.
is.
Who was your ramp agent for? Was it? Was that in
I
Europe
was
or was
working
that
in Palma de
in
I
Palma?
was working in Palma de Mallorca airport as a on a company that was working for mainly our main was Air Berlin, but Mesker and a few more. And it was quite funny. That's another thing, that working at the airport is usually way too funny, and you want
Yeah,
more, and you want more and more and more. I wanted to fly, so that's why I quit the airport. And summer
was
was
it?
dreadful. I mean, we were melting on the ground in Palma.
Oh, I can
30
imagine. Yeah.
highs, and
Yeah, I'm
it
talking
was
from English.
just
We have 1 week
crazy.
of summer here, so that's what I'm talking from. But I can imagine it's even worse in Palma. We have the main week in July, and that's about it. So,
Yeah,
would you advise people to get into if they haven't got the funds available straight away to fly? Would you say to start as a ramp agent, for example, or a job around the airport? Would you say
yeah,
it's always a good idea?
yeah,
Yeah.
because they are gonna understand a lot of things later on. My view of aviation is absolutely different from anyone who hasn't been over there,
Mm.
because I can see anyone, because I know the job of pretty much anyone around the plane, and I can figure it out. I know how much effort it takes to do the things. It's just a completely different view, and also because I was working also in operations, and I know a lot of things about flight planning, and so it's just another approach. Uh, I mean, I cannot recommend it, because nowadays the path is usually finish the flight school and try to get a job. Okay,
Yeah.
it's what it is. But if you have the chance of doing it, come on, do it. I mean, I think it's. I don't. I don't think I have to say that, but it's better to work 1 year as a ramp agent or in operations on an airline, like, to get the knowledge. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge, okay? That to be a flying instructor for a year.
Okay.
Although you are flying, although you are flying, although you are
Yeah.
flying as a flying instructor, but I think the knowledge that is going to give it to you for the future, you will realize how many things you know that the people you are flying with, they don't know it. You will figure it out soon. And
Yeah.
it's impressive, the difference. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, especially dispatching now, it's crazy to see every single element come together just in one single turnaround. Is pretty incredible. I don't think people realise that until, like you say, they work in a job like yourself or mine, and then you sort of realise it much more. There's a lot of different elements to it.
And also it gives you another touch of treating the people that is around the operation of the plane different.
Yeah.
From my from my point of view, if the fueler doesn't comes, we don't take off. If the guys from the handling they don't take the bags out, we are not going to take off. If the guy with the jet bridge he doesn't approach, we are not going to take off, and things like that. So you have to think about it seriously, that everyone around, it's important. Of course, everyone has their own levels of importance, but everyone is important. Otherwise, the plane is not going to be moving. If the guy with the truck and the tow bar doesn't show up, you're not going to push back.
You need it all.
That's it.
I think aviation's such a close knit thing as well that everyone knows everyone in the airport, especially. So if you're not nice to somebody, that gets relayed quite quickly, I think, as well. And I think you can go quite far on good merit, I think, in aviation from what I've seen. Would you agree?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I've absolutely loved talking to you. I think you're a great person to learn from. I think the listeners would get loads of knowledge from this conversation. I do want to ask you one thing before we go. If you could leave the listeners with one thought, what would it be? Like if you could leave with one sentence or one quote even that sort of inspired you throughout the years, what would it be?
Aviation is magic.
I love that. That's perfect.
But anything related with aviation is magic. I fly planes. I know the theory, but I am still amazed how the planes can fly.
Yeah, agreed.
And I've been flying a lot of different type of planes, and it's just the magic. You are moving from one place to another so quick. It's unbeatable. It's magic.
That's absolutely perfect. Do you want to shout out yourself? Any ways to get people to follow you? Have you got Instagram or anything like that? If you'd like people to follow you, anything
Well,
you'd
yeah,
like to promote?
you can follow
Anything?
me. Yeah. Promotion is always good.
Always.
You can follow me on You can follow me on either TikTok, Instagram, or I got also a Facebook page. It's Marcos the Pilot. It's super easy. And I've been sharing pictures when I was young and videos and stories, and it's full-time aviation related because it's like my professional profile. And anyone who is approaching me or texting me, pretty much I'm always answering to everyone.